Okay, done. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome. Glad to see you all here. Happy to have you on our webinar session today about Durham University and the International Study Center, and especially for our November intake, because that is just around the corner, to really prepare yourself and see, what steps you need to take in order to still confirm your placement in case you haven't done so. So very happy to see you all here. I'm just going to give it a couple more seconds until everyone has signed in on the webinar. I know we're still having some registering now, so we're just going to give it a couple seconds. Okay, great. So I would say we'll slowly get started. My name is Natasha. I'm the head of the global recruitment for Durham University International Study Center. I'm here today with a team from the International Study Center / University, but I'm also here joined by a fellow ISC student and now Durham University student. So I would say we start with a round of introductions. Perry, since I see you here next on the screen, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, so I'm Perry and I manage the Sports Centre at Queen's Campus and also help link with Demi with the enrichment projects as well.
Thank you, Perry. And over to Adeline.
Hi guys, I'm Adeline. I'm a second-year student at Durham. I'm also the international officer for South College.
Thanks so much, Adeline. And then over to Demi.
Hi, I'm Demi and I'm the student enrichment coordinator at the ISC.
Thank you so much. So we're really excited to be speaking to you today and just bring you the International Study Center a bit closer. Also talk a little bit about the university in case you're not that familiar with. You're most likely, joining this call because you have already applied for Durham University International Study Center for one of the pathway programs, foundation or pre-master program, and you're still kind of like in that headspace. Are you going to join, November intake? Where are you going to start your studies? So we are here to bring you Durham University International Study Center a bit closer, and then hopefully you can, make a joint decision then afterwards, or reach out if you have more questions then after this session. So if you go over to the next slide, this is what we will be covering today. So first of all, Durham University, we're going to be talking a little bit about it. Then the International Study Center, we'll talk about the Queen's campus, because the International Study Center is located on the Queen's campus of Durham University. What to expect when you're getting to the center, the location, you meet the ISC team. I mean, Demi and Perry are already here, and Adeline has that experience because she used to study at the ISC, so she's going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to go over accommodation options for you as well. Then I'll be talking a little bit more detail about the November start and what you need to look out for. Your next steps, how you can still confirm your placement and prepare yourself to get your visa, get all of the things sorted, such as insurance and registration, pre-arrival registrations before you get to the ISC. And then we also have some opportunities for you for extracurricular activities in becoming an ambassador, something similar that Adeline has done. So she will share her experience on that as well. So we'll get started because, as you can see, there's loads to get through. If you have any questions throughout, do me a favor and just use the Q&A box down at the bottom of your screen. You can type in their questions throughout, and then we will try our best to reply to them already during the session, or we might pick them up then later on if you feel like it's better to elaborate on that and explain that later on. So please feel free to post any questions that you have. This is your opportunity. We're here today to answer any questions for you. So first off, why would you want to choose Durham University? So first off, to explain, if you applied for a foundation or a pre-master program, this is your opportunity to then progress to Durham University. Durham University is a very strong, reputable university in the world. It's ranked 78th in the QS rankings, the top 100. It has also a lot of strong subject rankings. It's 7th in the UK, so top 10 in the UK as well. So Durham University doesn't even need a lot of introductions because the ranking really speaks for itself, and there's a strong reputation with the international companies globally, worldwide as well, in different countries that know Durham University very well. It's one of the oldest universities in the UK as well, alongside with Oxford and Cambridge. Is one of the older ones in the world. Yeah. Teaching at Durham University. So Durham University is actually part of the Russell Group Universities. If you're not familiar with that, Russell Group Universities is a group of 24 universities in the UK that are leading their research in academics. And so Durham University as well is one of the top universities within that Russell Group University, or within that Russell Group, to lead on research, not just within the UK, but also globally. Next slide, please. Here I would like to get a little bit Adeline's feedback, but also Perry, just to talk a little bit about the collegiate system, because that is very unique for Durham University. So Perry, can I hand it over to you first to talk a little bit about the setup at the university?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we have 17 colleges at Durham University. Every college is very individual. They've all got their own colours, their own badges and own mottos. So every college is very individual. While you study at the study centre, however, you will get plenty of opportunities to go visit the colleges. The progression team will be taking you on tours up there to have a look around each college. So you'll get a feel for the colleges while you're here, and then you get to choose your top 5 colleges to get through when you want to progress. The colleges all do their own activities. They'll all have their own bars, college events going on. Some of them are formal, so some of them will have formal dinings and college balls where you get to dress up in a nice gown, very Harry Potter themed, enjoy a nice meal, and that would happen sort of once a week within the colleges. Some colleges are self-catered as well, and some actually provide meals every day for you within the colleges. Very safe space for you to enjoy. And say I'll pass it on to Adeline, who will tell us a bit more about what college you chose, Adeline, and why you chose your college.
So obviously I'm from South College. The first reason why I chose South was because it's one of like the newest college. It was built in 2020. And it was quite near. It is quite near to business school. However, during your first year, your lecture is not gonna be in business school, which I didn't do too much research about it. And if you do, like, you wouldn't have known. So, but I'm really glad that I chose there because like everyone there just so diverse and like is so inclusive. And our president is also like they are from the UK, but their parents are from Pakistan, if I remember correctly. This year we have a lot of international students as well. I actually helped them with the Freshers Week because I'm the international officer, so I've been like welcoming different students, including international and also local, and I had a great experience like with other Fraps as well. It was so fun that we can work together as a team and not just like someone who like some bunch of students who are going to be on duty and take care of like students who go on a night out or that kind of thing. But I would say like I don't think it would be something I would have experienced if I applied to other universities, if that makes sense. So it's something really unique that Durham has, and I take pride of. So
yeah, it just makes you feel like as immediately part of a community, and like it's the same as the ISC community that we're going to be talking about later. It's the same with the colleges, and it's quite nice, you know, when you're stepping into university, especially at undergrad level when you're younger, to have kind of like a home away from home. So yeah, it's a really nice setup. Thanks so much, Adeline, for sharing your experience. Okay, if you can go over to the next slide. Okay, so we'll take you now to the International Study Center. That was just more of a general introduction to Durham University. And as I said, so the International Study Center is a stepping stone into the university, Durham University. So your pathway, your foundation, or your pre-master program leads you directly into the university if you have met progression requirements. Of course, there are requirements, academic requirements, even with your foundation or your pre-master program, but it is a direct line into Durham University. This is not a general pathway program that you're going to be doing and then you're going to any universities. This is directly linked to the university. And these are some impressions that we have from our students. I mean, we're really, Demi and Perry will, confirm this as well. We're just so proud of all of the students that are then going from the International Study Center, going on to Durham University, and then they're graduating later on. So we had some of the students graduating this year, and we joined, of course, the graduation ceremony as well. The team from the ISC was there too, because it's just, honestly, it's a proud moment because they're preparing them to go to Durham University, so they were really, when you're coming to Durham, the team at the ISC will be your first impression really of the university and what to expect then later on as well. And so they take great pride of all of the graduates then from Durham University. So there's just some impressions of the students that have just graduated, and Adeline will be then one of them as well in another year's time, 2 years' time, and then she'll be finishing. Oh no, you're doing a placement year as well. So it will be actually a little bit longer, but yeah. Next slide, please. Okay, so why to choose the International Study Center? As I mentioned, it's a stepping stone into Durham University. So you might have applied because you either, didn't meet direct entry requirements for the postgraduate level or for the undergraduate level. You need a little bit more confidence in your English level, English support, maybe you've fallen short with the IELTS requirements as well. We will talk a little bit about the support that you're getting and all of the experience you have at the International Study Center, but we're here to really bridge that gap academically between your academics currently and the academics that are expected at the university. So you have a route into the undergrad and you have a route into the postgraduate programs. And between that, what is really even more important is that we will help you with the whole onboarding process while you're at the International Study Center, because do not underestimate moving abroad for the first time and having to completely reorient yourself when you're coming to a new destination, having all new people around you. I mean, this is what Adeline mentioned as well. When you're an international student coming, going abroad for the first time, you're out of your comfort zone. It's quite nice that they have this collegiate system, because it does offer you a little bit of a safe space and an immediate, all of you are in the same boat. And so you have an immediate connection with people that have moved abroad for the first time as well. And that safe haven is given at the International Study Center because it's all international students, all in the position as you, having applied for an either foundation program or a pre-master program, then to progress to the university afterwards. And so you have academics that are going to prepare you and set you up for the expectations that you have then later on at the university as well, and get you Durham ready. That's the purpose of the International Study Center. I'll hand it over. Demi, is this already where I hand over, or?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, basically I'll follow on from what Natasha was saying, that it is, I'm not just saying it because I work there, it is an amazing place. We actually had some students that have just completed and are now in Durham, have just started, and they were like, they came back yesterday and they were just like for a visit, and they literally were like, we miss it so much. Which is lovely to hear, because we want that. We're preparing you to go to Durham University, and we are going to miss you, but the whole point is that we're getting you ready, and you are getting quite a good start. You're not just getting taught your degree, you're getting taught how to do, your academic English. So, while you're with us, you'll be learning English as well. I know you might be able to speak English, which is great. You probably speak it better than I do, but it's to actually write it, properly and be prepared to do it academically in Durham. And then also myself and the progression team will be taking you up to Durham for visits constantly. And that is so we can teach you and show you where you need to go, where's the best places to go, show you each college so you can decide on which one's for you. you know, see the actual like study places that, you know, business schools, like Adeline said, like we'll show you all these places that, you know, you might be studying when you go to Durham, so you know where to go, and basically how to be a Durham student. So we're preparing you all for that. What you do need to probably expect, I think it's on the next page. So basically our teachers are absolutely incredible. They will give you as much like highly good experience. Basically it'll be both face-to-face teaching, which to be honest I'd probably say it's probably 90% face-to-face teaching now, because COVID has calmed down. It's very rare you have an online lesson, but it does happen in circumstances, so that may happen, but it's very rare, because you know we want all of it to be face-to-face. It's much better in them lessons. To get you out of bed as well, and get you into the, you know, the school, and basically be with your friends as well. It's a great experience. You will have lessons where there'll be no more than 10 to 22. It's sometimes less now, and the reason for that is we have mainly them lessons because it's more personal and the teacher can focus on each individual a little bit more. When it's a lecture hall theatre lesson, it's a little bit more, the teacher won't know if you're struggling, they won't know if you're a little bit behind. They can focus on you a little bit more with these smaller lessons. So we do tend to have them more throughout the week, but you will have lecture lessons as well. You will get a lot of self-study time, and that is because it's exactly the same in Durham. So what you're being taught and how you're being taught here will be exactly the same of when you go up to Durham. There is a lot of self-study time, and that is down to you. It's independently, like studying by yourself, and make sure you actually use that time. It's really important that you do. I know you might want to just have a nap and go out, and that's fine if you want to do that, but you won't be going to Durham if that's the case. So it is important that you are serious about, because this is such an incredible opportunity. I'm just saying, don't mess it up. So definitely take that time when the teachers and the tutors set that time for you. You will also be assigned an academic personal tutor. So that's like, you'll hear the term APT, and that's what it is. They will be there with you every step of the way while you're with us. And we'll make sure that you stay on track. That's what they're there for. They're there for if you want to talk to them, if you've got any worries. You teachers and your lecturers may also go to your APTs as well and voice that, you know, they think you might be a little behind on just certain subjects, and the APT will make sure you're caught up with that. So that's absolutely what we'll do in that case, and they're brilliant, they're lovely. And again, yeah, so you will have lessons that are supported by resources, activities. You will get a lot of online like information, and that's really helpful. So Learn Ultra, that's a really helpful platform, so definitely go on these platforms. There's another one called Virtual Reception. They're really helpful. Don't just, you know, never check them out. If you don't, you're not going to do very well. The information on there is updated every day by your lecturers and your APTs, and you have to check them out. So it is very important, like, keep up to date with them. Oh, so this is Perry, I think, and me, to be honest.
Can I just jump in really quickly and ask Adeline about her experience with student support as well at the LC? Adeline, if you can just share a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, sure. So academic wise, I think they really prepared us to like how to write a proper academic piece, because back in high school I just write like essays, but now in Durham, since I've started to do like a module called marketing research method, I think it's quite similar to what I've learned during my foundation year from sociology, and also from another module called extended project. Like, it really kind of like teach you like what are research methods, what should you do like while doing a research project, like what should you prepare, what are primary research, like secondary research, etc. Like, I think it really helped me a lot understanding those like terminologies and things like that. And then in terms of welfare support, like I miss the welfare team so much, and also the student enrichment team. Like, it's not something, well, I hope that it might be something you might be able to find from Durham called the collegiate system. But personally, I think my relationship with the welfare team and also student enrichment team is so much closer with the welfare support I'm now with at Durham. I'm only closer with the Durham's welfare support team right now because of my executive role at my college. It's not because they always will approach you, like it's not in that way. So I'm really glad that like during my time at the ISC, the people from the welfare team and student enrichment team were so nice. Like they were always there to support me to build it. They helped me to build up my confidence and get me through the year, I'd say. So I can't thank them more like than anything else. So yeah,
Thanks so much.
they're the best.
Thanks so much for sharing that. Okay, over to you, Perry.
Hi there. Yes, so this is an example of what we do with the sort of enrichment projects. So we'll start with sports. So we're very lucky that we've actually got a sports centre on campus. That's for you. So we've got a sports hall. We can do basketball, badminton, football. We've got a gym based here as well that you can join with a small sports team that are all personal trainers to support you for any fitness needs. And we've also got a football pitch outside as well. So the timetable that you can see on that PowerPoint there is just an example of the activities that we provide for you. So we offer over 20 hours of activities a week for you to get involved in there. A nice range from like dance classes to basketball to football. All those sessions are open to all students to take part in, all very social, just good fun, a great way to meet new friends when you first start as well. If you wanted to take sport a bit more seriously, we also have our college teams. So the ISC as a college can enter into the college leagues up in Durham. So this year we've got a football team. We're potentially going to have a women's football team for the first time as well this year. We've got basketball and we've got badminton. So you would represent the ISC and we would travel together up to Durham and you get to play your matches on a weekend and you play against other colleges in Durham. Which is an amazing opportunity because you get to meet other students, you get to talk about their experience in colleges, and it's a great way to, again, just to be feeling part of that team, that community. So you can see that's our football team this year, that we had our first game on Sunday and we won 3-0, played a really good muddy match up in Durham. So it was a fantastic opportunity. So I would encourage everyone to get involved in some way, in some activity, a great way to relax from your studies as well. Another great thing that we've done this year as well is the volunteering. So Durham is very big on volunteering. We have over 80 student-led projects that you can get involved in with volunteering. And we're doing a lot of local-based projects for you this year as well. We had 85 students turn up to the volunteering training yesterday, which is brilliant because we love you all to get involved in the community. And it's just a way to give back to your community. You learn new skills, you meet new people, you network with local communities and businesses. So we really encourage to get involved in something while you're here. Like Demi said, don't waste that time while you're here. Take every opportunity that you can while you're studying at the ISC, and that will help you when you progress to Durham as well, because your colleges will all be encouraging you to get involved in some activities there. Go to the next slide. Okay, and then we've also got music, arts and the clubs that you can join as well. So we have a variety of clubs and societies that you can join, both at Stockton in the Queen's campus and in Durham as well. Music and arts, again, is very big within the Durham enrichment. We have our own theatre up in Durham, which do productions all throughout the year, which you can get involved in. A lot of the colleges actually have their own music rooms and music departments, where you can go and just play music and be involved in any sort of music activities in Durham. I'll pass back over to Demi because I know she was going to talk about the leadership and the student leadership program as well.
Yeah, so if you go on to the next page, I think it's it just shows you, yeah. So basically, we're actually at the moment, we're in the middle of our campaign for the September students. They're actually making all posters around the university and they're all campaigning why people should vote for them. And then they'll be voted in next week. So basically, there is 5 roles. There's a student ambassador role, a student digital leadership role, student representatives, student mentors. And then the other one isn't actually on there. But there is another one that is a language exchange role. And basically, these are incredible to get involved in if you want to be the voice for the students, you want to be a part of loads of events and activities that's going on. It's just brilliant. You'll come on trips with me quite regularly. Adeline was actually one of our student reps when she was with us, and she was incredible. I think she really absolutely thrived in her role, and she actually went on to be the Durham ISC Society. Was it the vice principal? Was it? Is that what it was?
Vice president, yeah.
President, sorry.
No.
How did you find the role, Adeline?
I think it really helped me a lot, building a lot of soft skills and bring up my confidence, because you probably won't believe it, but I was so shy before. But through this role and through helping like other students as like a communication bridge between the staff and like the student, I feel like I was beyond used, and I was very fulfilled of helping students coming together, like, because we're all like, yes, that's true, we are gonna just be here for like a year, and we might not be able to meet each other again like when we progress to year one at Durham, but at the same time, like helping them and helping the ISC to be like a better center in terms of like academically, or like in terms of supporting students. So I had a fun time like with other like reps as well. And then because there was never like a society up in Durham for the International Study Center. So a few months before we progressed to year one, we applied to form a student group for the ISC from under the student union, and they approved, and that's how it goes. And we also had like a few different activities last year where we go back down to see the students who just progressed to be a year one, and some of them has now become exec, which I'm really happy and grateful for. And then given the fact that we as a progress student had like similar experience as them from last year, I feel like we really helped them a lot as like a peer from a peer point of view. And rather, I mean, yes, like the students support within the IC are like amazing, but sometimes you just need like an actual student who can like help them with things. So I think we really like did accomplish our objectives, and hopefully, finger crossed, like this year is exactly gonna do an amazing job as well. So yeah.
I know, I'm hoping they're going to do really well. I mean, right now they're absolutely loving it. They're enjoying the campaign, and they're all a little bit determined, and some of them are friends, and they're like, no, I'm not your friend while we're campaigning. They're all getting a bit competitive. But it's been sweet. They've actually been helping with each other's posters. So no, it's a great opportunity, and it's nice to just stand out from the crowd at the university. Students will come to you for help and support. And just to also, when you're a student rep, you will come to meetings with the heads of departments, myself and other staff. And these meetings are a chance for you as the student voice to tell us things that we need to change and we need to adjust. Last year's students, the biggest change they were determined to make was the colour of the lanyards, because it is super important you wear your lanyard when you're on campus, and they were a bright orange colour, and they absolutely hated them, the colour of them. I have no idea why, it's just a lanyard in my head, but they hated them. They were like, no, this is why we don't put them on. I was like, right, okay. And now they're purple, so you can't go wrong. It's a Durham purple, so hopefully, and every student up to now has been wearing their lanyards, so clearly it made a change. Which is good. So that's why we have our student reps. So yeah. What's next? So this is something I'm going to make hopefully very clear, because we had a few students that been a bit confused. When we say, obviously, Durham University, you're not based in Durham University for this year that you will be with us. You are based in a place called Stockton-on-Tees. So please remember that when you're looking for your accommodation, when you come to visit us, if you come for a tour. It's not Durham, not Durham City, not any of that. It's nowhere near there. It's probably about 45 minutes on a bus away. It's called Stockton-on-Tees. It is a lovely campus. The reason we're based quite a little bit away from Durham is basically that was the campus that was there for quite a while. It got built there because it's a lot more quieter. There's a lot more space. There's no more room in Durham to build more stuff, to be honest. So this is a lovely little town. It's really quiet, and that actually is a good thing, because while you're with us, it's so important that you focus. And then once you get to Durham, that's absolutely fine. You can enjoy yourself all you want. But while you're with us in this year at the ISE, it's so important that we get you into Durham. So it is a good little town. It's quiet. It's just nice to make sure that you focus, get your studies done. Obviously still enjoy yourselves with your sports and your clubs and everything. But yeah, we need to make sure you get into Durham. So that's why it's lovely that it's actually away from Durham, because you just get that little bit quiet, more space to focus. I'll just go on the next slide. Yeah, so this is basically a little map of where it is. So you'll just see here, we are literally just underneath. It's not that far. There's two airports that are quite close to us, which is Newcastle Airport, and then there is another one now that is Durham Tees Valley Airport. They are very close. Like you say, traveling by train to Durham is like 45 minutes. Newcastle's 1 hour and 15. So we are still close to Durham. Students tend to go up quite a lot now. They've joined quite a few clubs in Durham University, and they just get the bus every night to there, and it's not far at all. You'll realise that when we take you up for trips, it's not far. So yeah, if you are, when you come in and you're going to live here, please remember, you're not living in Durham, you're living in Stockton-on-Tees. Definitely have a look on maps and just give it a search, just so you can get a ratio of how far away it is and understand it a bit better. Yeah, so that's not that far. Accommodation, we do have two accommodations that we work with. We offer an accommodation at Rialto Court, and the other one is Infinity House. They're very short walk. It's about 10 minutes, depending how slow you walk, but it's about 10 minutes. It's not that far at all. The Rialto Court is actually for under 18s. We do have some that are over 18, just down to space really. But that if you are under 18, you have to be in Rialto Court. It just has that little bit more security for them students that are classed as, underage. So yeah, but they're both in Stockton, only 10 minutes away from the campus, and they're dead easy goers. So definitely have a look at these accommodations to figure out which one you'd like to be in. Preferably, obviously, Infinity House is over 18s, and yeah, there is spaces in Rialto where we do allow over 18s as well. So yeah, definitely have a look at them. And then yeah, there's some little tours, so if you want to scan them, I'll give you a little chance to have a look. It just gives you a little walkthrough of where it's at, how to get there. I don't know which one, Adeline, which one were you in? Were you in Infinity House?
No, I was in
Rialto.
Rialto. I was like still a little kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were under 18. Gosh, I forget about that. Oh, how did you find Rialto? Was it okay?
Yeah, I think Rialto Court is pretty fine. Yeah. Because we have like common room, and at our year, because they just opened Infinity House, so they didn't really make use of the common room. We had our like first party ever at Rialto Court for the Halloween party. It was quite fun. Yeah, I had really great memories at there. So yeah, and you can like watch. You can watch Netflix on the common room from Rialto Court, I think. And also, I saw people bringing their Switch and PS5 as well. So.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. There's also ping pong.
Yeah. There's loads of games now. But I know they're planning a Halloween party. At the moment.
I saw on Instagram.
So yeah, there's a lot going on. So
Can
yeah,
I just ask a quick question that came actually up now? They just want to know kind of like the differences between the two, if there are any.
They're just a student accommodation in my head.
I think the rooms in Infinity are a bit smaller, but the kitchen, I'd say, I won't say it's more spacious, but I feel like it's more like looks more like modern kitchen in Infinity House, and they have like 2 big fridges. One is just for like cold. I forgot what the word it is, and then one is like a whole freezer. But like in Rialto Court, it's just like a normal fridge.
Mm-hmm. And I know that all the rooms come with an ensuite, so you won't be sharing a bathroom.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that is a big question. So you get your own bathroom and toilet, so don't worry about that. All that you'll be sharing it's usually the lounge area in the kitchen. So yeah, that's not too bad.
I guess one of them is that if you're under 18, you'll go to Rialto and not to the Infinity House. It's just to keep everyone together in one area for safeguarding, really.
Yeah.
That's one major difference as well. But because we have these QR codes, have a look yourself, have a tour of the accommodation, and then you can maybe spot differences. But in general, it's the same and close distance to the ISC as well.
So also these are just some of the staff, so you can actually go onto the website and meet some of the staff. You can speak to some of them, you can speak to some of the ambassadors as well. So we do have Barnaby as an option that you can talk to him, ask him anything. He is the head of English, so he's absolutely lovely. He's really sweet. So yeah, you can meet him. There's another option of head of science, which is Graham. Again, lovely man. Gary is actually deputy centre director, and he actually used to be a lawyer, so he's really amazing. So definitely, you know, if you want to speak to any of these, and there's Lottie as well. She's deputy head of student support. I think Adeline knows Lottie quite a lot. She is in the welfare team. So yeah, she's absolutely incredible. If you have absolutely any questions, Lottie is the person that probably knows every answer. So yeah, if you do want to have to speak to any of these, I know that is on the website. You can actually open a chat with them, which is great.
Thanks so much, Jamie, Perry, and Adeline. So now I'm going to go through a lot of just straightforward facts and things to note about for the upcoming intake that we have in November. So do not panic if there's a lot of information now coming at you. We will share these slides with you afterwards. We will also be sharing the recording with you afterwards, so you can always go back. So first off, we have a November intake. You might have been, familiar previously, or, with other universities, they have a September intake typically. Some have a January intake, but the majority just have that major September intake. We used to have September and January only, but now we have a fantastic new addition, which is the November intake. It is a 3-week induction period. So you will be joining at the end of November. You will be then there at the ISC for 3 weeks, really having a longer onboarding period where you're really going through a lot of things, just settling in, getting to know the ISC, doing some fun activities around the center as well and the area, probably taking up a trip to Durham as well during that time. And then you will have the winter break, like all of the other students as well that have finished up the first semester from the September intake. And then you will be joining the academic cohort in January, which starts on the 15th of January. So you'll have a little bit of a break after the induction period. So really, you have then a longer induction period to settle in even more and to explore the area, because I cannot stress this enough. There's a lot to take in when you're moving abroad. A lot of students as well, they maybe fly into, Durham maybe a week before their studies start. And so if you do that in January and you have only 1 week induction period, it can be quite stressful to get everything settled and then focus on your academics in the second week. So a November intake is kind of nice to take that pressure off so that you're well-rounded and all well-informed and settled in before you take on your academics in January. So 3 weeks, starts on the 27th of November and then finishes on the 15th of December. And then you have a break until the 15th of January for your academics. Next slide, please. So yeah, it's just a couple of things that students said, and because we had a November intake last year for the first time actually, and I think Demi and Perry also agree with that. It was a fantastic experience because the pressure of the academics was gone, and so students didn't really just had 1 week. I mean, Demi can probably confirm this now for the September intake. It's quite intense because you have to put a lot of stuff, a lot of information into a 1 week period. Now, it's not to turn you off from the January intake, but it's just to set your expectations. It's a lot to take in. And so when you spread this over 3 weeks, you just have a longer time period to really digest all of the information as well. So students had a really positive feedback on this, and this is why we brought the November intake back for this year. And so had the ISC team, because they could really just enjoy the time to get to know all of the students as well. Plus, the November intake then also gets a little bit of a advantage to the January intake, because they of course know a lot of things already. They get to meet the September students already, buddy up with them, and then the November intake can become buddies for the students that are joining in January and helps also with extracurricular activities and soft skill development and things like that. So there's a lot of advantages taking that induction period in November. Next slide, please. So your next steps that we're talking about. So if you have not confirmed your placement yet, which is very likely, then you have to make sure that you, of course, get an unconditional offer. We can certainly still accept applications until your CAS deadline, which means your CAS deadline is, the supporting document for your visa. Until then, you can still submit your application, but you need to make sure that you have all your documents ready and that you can process this quite quickly. So you, of course, need to pay also the relevant fees in order to get your place confirmed. You need to pay a confirmation deposit and an admin fee. And then if you want to have your CAS, you need to pay a £6,000 or £8,000 confirmation deposit, depending, on the degree that you're choosing as well. And then once you have your CAS, then there will also be a tuition fee due then before you start the November intake. So there will be an outline payment plan in your offer letter. So just make sure that you're really familiar with that. It's typically on page 3 or page 4. So just make sure that you are sticking with that payment plan in order to process everything. You need to be on time, of course. On the 27th, it's all in person. Nothing is online. So just make sure that you are on there for the induction period sharp on the 27th of November. And there were a lot of questions about getting your residency card before, if you're arriving 2 weeks before. No, you will be picking it up on the day that your induction period actually starts. So I just want to point that out as well, because there were a lot of questions now. If I'm arriving earlier, can I sort out everything already before? Please wait until the induction period, and then the team will walk you through how to open a bank account, how to register for all of the important portals, how to get things sorted with accommodation, etc. They will help you out at the ISC. So just make sure that you are just setting your expectations when traveling to Durham as well, to the International Studies Centre. I always have to make sure Demi made that very clear. It's not Durham, it's Stockton-on-Tees. So just make sure that you are in Stockton-on-Tees on the 27th of November. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just really a summarized version of what I've just gone through. So confirm your offer, apply for your CAS, apply for your visa, set your accommodation, sort out your accommodation beforehand. Okay, that's really, really crucial. I know some students prefer, to gauge out the area and have temporary accommodation, but it's very stressful for you to do that. Make sure we do have these QR codes. You can take a tour of the accommodation. You can reach out to the ISC team or even to ambassadors on our website that have stayed in the accommodation, so they can give you some pointers as well, such as Adeline or other students that have stayed there, so they can give you some pointers. It is recommended to stay in Rialto or Infinity just because it's close to the ISC. It's very convenient. And then once you're moving then to the main campus in Durham, that's when if you want to choose your own accommodation, you don't want to stay in one of the colleges, then you can do that. But at least you're more familiar with the area. So for the start, I would always recommend to go with student accommodation. So definitely make sure that you check that as soon as you confirm your placement as well, and you're sorting out your CAS. You need to book your travel. You need to let us know about your travel. You will get actually an email with a welcome hub. It will be a later slide, and you will have a pre-registration form on there that you need to just submit to the ISC so that they're familiar with your travel plans. So if you're running into any emergencies, they know where you are. They can help you as well, or they can anticipate at least your travels too. Organize some cash on you when you're going. Have your passport needs to be valid up to 6 months from the start of the intake. So just make sure that if your passport is about to expire, maybe in the beginning of next year, just make sure you are already extending it now and sort it out now before you have to do that, because then they wouldn't let you fly to the UK. Get some passport-sized photographs, always handy to have. Make copies of your important documents because you might get asked about it when you are actually entering the UK at the airport. So just make sure that you have all documents with you. And join the pre-arrival event. That one will be online, but it's important to just join that so that you are familiar with all of the things expected of you for your arrival. And if you have any questions to accommodation, you can always reach out to durhamisc.css@studygroup.com. Again, we're sharing the slides, so you have that email address with you, and that one is kind of like geared to go for anything logistic that you need to sort out, transportation, accommodation, things like that. Any pre-arrival questions you can post to that email address. Next slide, please. For your visa, so there are a couple deadlines. One, of course, you know, as you can see, there are some application deadlines, but also CAS deadlines. So just make sure that you're familiar with them. If you applied through any agency, then they have these dates as well in line with them. They change by country as well, and that is more depending on how long the visa processing time takes by country. So just make sure that you familiarize yourself with your deadlines. Again, one is coming up already on the 20th of October. Then there are others that go a little bit longer. Those are for January in the second slide, in the second line. So just make sure that you differentiate between November intake and the January intake. Next slide, please. Study care insurance, this is just something that we would like to mention. We typically, by default, put on your offer letter already study care insurance. This is private student insurance that you can get additional to NHS. There is an extra cost involved. We do highly recommend to sign up for extra health insurance when you are coming to the UK as an international student, just because, you know, I think if the pandemic taught us anything is to be very, very careful. And so just having a little bit of extra support when you're running into any emergencies. And that is exactly what our insurance is covering. And they were very, very helpful during COVID when students needed emergency flights back home or just exit the country quite quickly. They were really, really helpful. And so I can only recommend that you are looking at extra insurance with your visa application. Yes, you're applying for the NHS support, health insurance support. That is a public health insurance that you will be covered then with, but in emergencies, you know, it is just helpful because they wouldn't cover any if you need to go, you know, home for like a family emergency or things like that. So definitely have a look at the policy. It's on our website. In the offer letter, you usually have a link to that policy as well, to the study insurance, not the details, but you at least have the reference to the website so that you can familiarize yourself with the policy as well. Next slide, please. And then your welcome hub. So this is what I mentioned earlier. As soon as you confirmed your placement, you will actually receive a link by email. And this is the email that you submitted your application with. And there you have a pre-registration form that you need to fill in. This is a must. The IC needs to receive that because it gives travel advice. You know, if you seek out transportation, if you need to seek accommodation, this is all things that is helpful for the IC to know so that they can support you for you to be able to arrive safely and also on time. It is you need to sign up for the virtual learning environment. As Demi said, you know, 90% is face-to-face, but there might be some modules that will also be online, not modules, so to speak, but just maybe some learning you know, advice or just some learning modules to take on top of your classes. You will have that, and so you will be signing up for a virtual learning platform. It will be the same at the universities. University will also ask you, you know, to sign up for their online platform because there is a lot of learning material that you also need to be able to access throughout. And there will be a pre-arrival guide and apologies. And emergency contact information if you're arriving that you then can call, and that will lead you directly to the ISC so that they can help you with any emergencies when you are arriving and you are lost a little bit. Maybe you're in Durham trying to find your accommodation, but you really need to be in Stockton-on-Tees. You can call the emergency contact information to help you out with anything like that. Right, next slide, please. So Global Student Ambassador Program, this is a program that you can get involved in. Again, as Demi said as well, there's a lot of opportunities at the ISC to really get engaged, gain soft skills, you know, for future employability options, but also for you to just get engaged, you know, do something outside, update your CV, kind of things like that. And so there are global student ambassador opportunities for you, and that would entitle to you know, get involved in writing blogs, videos and vlogs, or video blogs, events, social media takeovers, and webinars that you can get involved in, such as Adeline. Adeline got involved with these type of things as well. She's always joining us for these webinars, just to give the student voice, because of course that's important as well for you to hear, you know, from a former student. And so, you know, next students for next year, they want to hear from you then, from your experience, if you have joined the November intake. Adeline, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience being an ambassador, helping out with these type of events?
Yeah, sure. I feel like it's been like a great opportunity to be an ambassador, because first of all, you got to interact with like different people, and you might actually become friends with them if they like whenever I go back to the ISC and like meet up with them actually in person, because like you always remember their name, like when they ask the question, and then they'll come like immediately and like, oh, are you Adeline? Like, I asked you this question during like 3 hour session, like, do you remember me? I may not remember, but like the conversation start there, and we might just become friends, and actually become friends with a lot of people from the last cohort. So I'm really happy that I met them. And in terms of like career wise, because I signed up to the student ambassador program from the last summer, from like the last 2 years, I actually got an internship with study group in Hong Kong, and also based in the UK. So I think it's a great opportunity if you sign up to be an ambassador. It's because right now I'm applying for placement as well. I can see that there are definitely a lot of things to write on my CV right now. Like, I probably wouldn't have much to write if I didn't sign up to these roles. So yeah, I think it's pretty useful.
It's very true, actually. You know, this is kind of, these things are setting yourself apart. Plus, it really challenges you to establish what your strengths and weaknesses are, which are so, so crucial when A, you're looking for placements, but B, when you're also in interviews, right? Because maybe a strong CV will also get you the interview, but then how you communicate and those type of soft skills, they are really developed if you're getting engaged in these extracurricular activities. So it's always really, really useful for you to get engaged in any type of activities that are offered to you. As Demi said earlier as well, take advantage of all of the different things that you can get involved in. Next slide, please. And then just like you can speak to the team at the ISC, you can also speak to student ambassadors. Demi had mentioned that earlier as well. So it's on this tab platform that is connected to our ISC website. If you type in Durham ISC, you get to the website, and there you will have some students that can talk about their experience. So Adeline is of course there as well, and she will be able to chat with you. So this is just writing chat. You can sign up. It's really, really simple. You post a question and then they reply back to you. Just be mindful that they don't, you know, have any knowledge about admissions, because admissions is very country specific. So from wherever you're applying, they will not know if you're qualifying. Okay, so this is more about their student experience at the ISC, but then also progressing, because all of the 3 students, just our, like Adeline, I mean the other 2 students, they have progressed. Dana has already graduated. She has done psychology and she graduated now. So there's, you know, a lot of things that you can ask the students about their experience at the university, but also at the International Study Center, how their transition was from the ISC to the university. So definitely take advantage of that and have a look around, you know, their profiles as well. They also post blogs and just some information about their experience too, especially Dana, for example. I know she's, you know, done psychology, but she also went into like marketing, and she also worked a little bit in IT while she was at the university. So she had opportunities to branch out and actually not stick just with her degree, which she said was quite valuable. So definitely interesting to reach out to them and hear a little bit more from them as well. Next slide. this already. Okay, we're at the end now. This was a lot of information. I know it has been, but thank you so much all for staying through all of the information that we've provided. I hope it was really useful, and you had the opportunity, of course, to hear also from Demi, from Perry, who you will be meeting then, and the November intake. And you might see Adeline then in the college, you know, if you are choosing to stay in her college once you're transitioning to the university. There was another question in the chat, in the Q&A box. Can I still apply for additional weeks? I'm not sure if this is for academic or for accommodation, because there were a lot of questions for accommodation earlier. If you could clarify that question, that would be helpful. Otherwise, in general, Demi, Perry, would you know in accommodation if they have signed off a contract, if they can add any additional weeks? Or is it the support team?
I think it depends if it's like at the beginning or more towards the end, because more at the end, we have to obviously get them rooms cleaned out
Right.
and ready for the new students. So I know there's a limit on like how far you can stay in there. I know at the beginning, some students do move in just, I think it's not max no more than 2 weeks earlier. But yeah, we've got to clean out the full accommodation and prepare it for the next students coming in. So we need that time to do that. So I'm not too sure about that one.
Yeah, I would recommend for that question, if it was accommodation related, please reach out to the Central Student Support Team. So that's durhamisc.css@studygroup.com. Those are the type of questions that you can ask them, because they are in touch directly with the accommodation teams as well, and they can then ask on your behalf. If this was in regards to academics, of course, you can add the induction week. You can still apply for the November intake, so absolutely go ahead. I'm assuming that you have already applied and you have your offer, so you can still go ahead and confirm your placement as well. That's still an option. Of course, we have some degrees that have already reached capacity, you know, such as very popular program law has reached capacity. So just be mindful of that before you're going ahead and confirming your place, what you've applied for, and if there are any restrictions. If there are, on page 2 of your offer letter, you have an advice that says this has limited capacity. And then I would always advise to check in first before you confirm your placement. Okay, I would say, yes, you will see all of us in the future. And we're actually very excited to see and meet all of you in November or in January then. And I hope you're all excited to meet your future classmates. I mean, some of them have already started in September, so you get to have a chance to meet everyone while you're there. There's loads going on. Demi said it's buzzing at the ISC, but it's a very fun environment. And I'm just so jealous of all of you that you have that all in front of you, because it's going to be such an exciting year. Thank you, Demi, Adeline, and Perry, for being here. Always good to have you on these webinars. And again, we're sharing the recording and the slides with you afterwards. So do not worry if you feel like you've missed anything. You will have all the information with you, and you will have those crucial email addresses to reach out to with any questions. Thank you so much for being here today. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.